Welcome to the first in a series of videos based on 3 workshops designed for staff at FST at the University of Westminster. These 3 one-hour workshops were designed to help staff firstly with planning for the use of technologies and student use of technologies, second, assist with presenting and encourage collaborating, and thirdly, assist with assessment of student understanding. Remember, you can pause the video at any time to reflect on your own practice. The first video focuses on designing opportunities to plan for the use of mobile technologies in lectures and seminars and tutorials. What are the intended outcomes of the new curriculum, formerly Learning Futures, and mobile learning? What are we aiming to achieve? Group discussion suggested the following key aspects. Now we've identified what we're aiming for. So what's already in place? What is already working well for staff when it comes to teaching using technologies? These will provide the foundation for additional opportunities. Some technologies have a tangible benefit to learning. Some lend themselves more readily to enhancing teaching. Most importantly, let's identify strategies, resources, and techniques that can be replicated. This is particularly important for students to enable them to get past the functional use of technologies to using it in a meaningful and purposeful way. Perhaps it was a video clip on YouTube or Vimeo that demonstrated a technique. Maybe it was an app with well-designed information or an animation that helped to secure understanding of a process or deepen knowledge. Maybe it was a website with an article. It could have been something you used that encouraged the students to collaborate better. Maybe it was a strategy you used to inform students in advance of engaging with them. Here are some examples of what staff in the workshops shared. When talking about planning, we might be considering a complete module run. We could identify how we could integrate strategies before the module begins, such as pre-assessment, repeatable activities during a module, summative assessment at the end of the module, and formative opportunities afterwards. Equally, we could consider this in terms of a single lecture or a single tutorial. Whatever we do, do less and do it well. Or, as a lecturer in biomedical science says, focus on a few. Some quick wins that can enthuse and engage students and lead to deeper learning are using QR codes, using collaborative resources such as Padlet boards, using tools that poll students for opinions and can assess learning and understanding. Let's have a look at some examples from different departments at FST. A lecturer in psychology has set up a reading list in Blackboard, organised into weeks, and has created a Padlet board for discussion each week in advance. The intention is to encourage students to read in advance, and therefore come to each session better prepared and better informed. And by contributing via Padlet, they will be able to learn from each other, and the lecturer will be able to gauge understanding based on the contributions. The advantage is that students can also access this in a more flexible way at FST and beyond. online resources can be accessed at any time, ideal for students who are larks and for those who are owls. Similarly, lecturers in computer science are using Nearpod to pre-assess student understanding of flowcharts before the start of a module. This will help to identify understanding and address misconceptions early on. Some staff are restructuring long lectures and breaking them up into more manageable sections, chunks of content, and then brief periods of review and informal assessment. Here we have an example of Padlet used to collect student feedback. This can help to keep students focused and enables a lecturer to intervene earlier if there is not secure learning. For example, if a student or students are not clear about a concept, or if there are opportunities to enrich and extend learning based on students posting their own questions. The final example here is also using Padlet for summative purposes in a module in computer science. Instead of writing, students uploaded video onto a shared Padlet board as part of an assessment on 3D modelling. Students were able to see the work of each other and could therefore peer assess and self-assess. Instead of looking at planning as a linear process, it may be more beneficial, especially when we consider summative and formative assessment, to think of planning as a more cyclical activity. Feedback during and after a session can be used to more accurately inform learning in the next session. Independent learning can also be encouraged after session as well, and students can be encouraged to develop their own lines of inquiry. Looking briefly at Bloom's taxonomy, we can see that by focusing on different verbs on the right, we can help students to develop higher forms of learning beyond mere recall of facts, and assess whether they genuinely understand what they have learned and can apply learning in a new concept. Creation does not need to be something physical. It can arise out of evaluating previous knowledge and develop into a new thought or a new point of view. In this session, we've seen examples of ways in which technology can have a real and tangible benefit on teaching and on learning when they are built in at the planning stage. What one thing will you take away from this session? What one thing will you change? And how do you anticipate enhancing what you currently do well? There are many different ways of getting further support, especially from digital leaders in your department. Some staff have been documenting their own experiences online. These are particularly useful for self-reflection and an excellent source of new ideas. For more information, staff at FST now have access to lynda.com, an online education company offering thousands of video courses in software, creative and business skills. Lynda.com produces video tutorials taught by industry experts, not just of specific software, but also of techniques such as flipping learning. Members have unlimited access to watch the videos, which are primarily educational. There is a dedicated path and section for higher education. Thank you for watching, and when you're ready, why not watch the second video in the workshop series, where we'll be exploring ways of presenting and collaborating using mobile technologies.